right, we are live and direct at this time and back on YouTube. And once again, if you haven't heard, we're having some surgery done on the monitor that we usually have at this location. So we're going to be kind of going to this format to show you the graphics on our Baron Lynx system and to show you more about what's going on out there. We'll be back to the monitor. I've been told by sometime in the next 3 days, whatever that means. We'll be waiting to see what happens there coming up in just a little bit. This is Weather Overtime. We are live and direct on YouTube. We'll be switching over to Twitch TV coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for more there. We have to do this at this point in time because of the fact that we, again, don't have the monitor, and unfortunately I usually do Twitch on our secondary, our email computer as we call it, over to the my right, your my left, your right on that side of the screen. But since the monitor isn't available, I can't use this display on that computer because I don't have this video source on that computer system. I would really love the chief engineers to be able to throw together something new and interesting on that, but they've got their own stuff to deal with at this time. So just going to be dealing with this for a while. If you've never tuned in here before, this is again our video weather blog, talking a little bit more about what is going on with weather. I know there's a lot of other stuff that goes on and that a lot of people like to talk about dance and music and cooking and sewing and all sorts of other stuff. We may not be that exciting, but we do talk about all sorts of unique and interesting things. So let's go ahead and get started, as we're going to have to do this with Twitch coming up here in just a little bit. Anyway, temperatures back in the high 80s. We were actually below normal for this time of the year. So 90 are normal, 89 the official high temperature for today. So we came very close to that, but didn't quite get all the way there. From downtown, looking around the area of AT&T Field, the Lookouts were having a very good game when I was coming back home, listening to the radio. So hopefully that streak will continue. Some beautiful sunset light out there for tonight from Lee Point. A little bit of leftover sunlight into and around the area, just looking off to the south and to the west at this point. Also a good view from the News 12 Studios Patriot concrete camera. Just a little bit left over in the way of sunlight, looking back over toward Raccoon Mountain and the slopes of Lookout Mountain on the left and center portions of your screen. A little bit of sunlight left from Chattanooga Red Wolf Stadium, 2475. We again have a little bit more darkness here thanks to the fact that several of the street lights are out. Again, don't know if that's due to construction over to the left-hand side of the screen. So if you're heading on 75 north to 24 west, you may run into some slowdowns there coming up relatively soon. From the Chattanooga Theater Center on the Speedy's Total Car Care camera, lots of folks down around Coolidge Park and a few folks walking on the footbridge. Otherwise, not that much happening. And nice view from the Chattanooga Zoo web camera around the area back toward Holtzclaw Avenue. Beautiful leftover sunset light there. The Q and Brew Festival coming up July 13th at the Chattanooga Zoo, so check out more information when that comes up at their social media pages or their website. 82 still at the airport, and numbers again back a little bit below normal for this time of the year. We'll get into some hotter conditions into around next week and into possibly around the 4th of July. That forecast coming up here again in just a little while. Let's give you the synopsis as to what is going on. Again, we're doing sort of a shortened version at this time because I've got to do 2 updates, one for YouTube, which you're watching right now, and one on Twitch, and that'll be coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for more there. The stationary front that's been sticking around for a while, that is again continuing to give us the potential of some rain showers, although most of what we're looking at for right now is down to our south, Atlanta, Macon, back over toward Birmingham, and just off the east coast, and a lot more moisture-rich winds coming in from off the Gulf of Mexico, and that's making its way back up this direction. But we're on the north side of that front, so we do have a little bit less in the way of moisture taking place for now. We do not see anything in the way of any severe weather at this time, lessening chances of anything involving even thunderstorms. Note the legend upper right-hand corner of your screen. The pale green indicates, again, a just generic risk of thunderstorms. That will be going through into tomorrow. And then as we go into Friday, isolated chances of showers and thunderstorms continue. And as we go into Saturday, so between Friday and Saturday, not much changing, although back to the north of us, we do have another threat of severe weather, and that could be a problem. If that decides to kind of go a little bit farther down to the south, we could see some parts of the viewing area with stronger thunderstorms. It doesn't look like much for right now, but it is something we're going to keep our eyes on, as well as with the temperatures over the next couple of days. Looking into tomorrow, the heat risk does not appear to be, again, a major concern. Northeast of News 12 viewing area central, McMinn, Meigs, Monroe County, that is where the red is a major threat of the possibility of some heat index numbers going very much on the high side. And as we go towards Saturday, that threat lessens and heads down to the south and to the east. So Gordon, Whitfield, Murray counties down toward Bartow, Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties in Georgia. That is where we could see, again, the potential for more heat risk coming on through. Now, not only are we looking again at the potential of hotter weather well above normal on temperatures, well above chances of going above normal is what I should say. This from the Climate Prediction Center. This is the short-range forecast going through Independence Day. So temperatures will be at or above normal, which at this point means the lower to mid 90s, or just a little bit maybe above that. But looking farther ahead into the forecast, 8 to 14 days out, again, the Independence Day through about, say, July the 10th, that is where we see a moderate risk of much hotter weather or excessive heat, as the Climate Prediction Center says, and that goes just south of the Chattanooga, Tennessee state line area. So Georgia and Alabama, you're going to be picking up the best potential of seeing the hottest weather here. So that is something that we really do need to pay attention to out there. We'll take a look at the tropics coming up here in just a little bit. Island Cove Marina and Resorts on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Looks like not too much going on at Lake Chickamauga. Beautiful post-sunset colors out there. National Lightning Safety Awareness Week comes to a close. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Notice the high temperatures here all the way across into early next week, lower to mid-90s, just above normal, as you saw in the Climate Prediction Center forecast. Then as we go toward Independence Day, and that's where we see July 3rd, July 4th, that's where temperatures start heading into the mid-90s, and after that is where we could see temperatures really starting to head upwards again. We're also seeing the potential of some chances of showers and thunderstorms across the area, and those could linger into the fireworks shows on the 4th of July during the evening about this time frame. Doesn't look like a huge possibility, but it does look like, again, we could see some activity out there. Not much going on between Monday morning and Wednesday afternoon. That is where we don't see too much of anything really happening. More sunshine, showers, and maybe a thunderstorm return to the area as we go toward Wednesday. So picking up, again, some activity, but it does not look to be a huge threat for now. The chances of severe weather are pretty much null at this point, but it is something that we have to pay attention to at this time of the year. So that is something to really keep an eye on. I should mention, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit us up in the chat if you'd like to ask any questions. We've got the chat function active and keeping an eye on what everybody is saying for tonight. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and drop them through there and we'll take a look. Let's take a look at the tropics real quick and show you what we have, which again is not entirely good news. Where we are, that stationary front, will be keeping things very quiet for now. We have a system just over the northeastern corner of Nicaragua, and that system is again going to be making its way over into parts of the Bay of Campeche eventually, and as it heads in this general direction, that area of low pressure will be tracking over that yellow polygon, which is where the National Hurricane Center thinks about a 30% chance of development in the next couple of days may be possible. Let me just refresh that because those numbers change at about 8 o'clock. 20% in the first 2 days, 30% in days 2 through 7. Now let's go out a little farther at this time and head over. If my cursor would be willing to agree with me on this, that would help. Okay, there we go. And so we look all the way over into the mid-Atlantic. This has now been increased. This threat at this time, let me go ahead and update this real quick. It's heading into that red area, the area of low pressure over mid-Atlantic. This could become a tropical depression and or a tropical storm in the next couple of days, according to the National Hurricane Center, and we now have a 70% chance of this developing into something in the next 48 hours and the next week or so. If it holds together, heading toward the Lesser Antilles and the Leeward Islands, we could be looking at the potential of a 90% chance of development from this particular cell. Again, expected to move this direction, and if it follows the first couple of storms, it might be making its way over toward where Alberto formed, again in the Bay of Campeche. So that is something we're really going to have to watch. No immediate threat to the United States at this time, but it is a possibility. So once again, please keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you advised on that. Trying to keep you a little bit cooler. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Regina Sass. I hope I'm saying that correctly. From Hickson, Tennessee. Thank you very much for a view of Mount Denali in Alaska. Very nice to see some snow up there. And thank you very much for sending that in. That you could have your picture where she had hers. And if you'd like to submit yours to see if you can get them in for the weather picture of the day, email us, drop it to our website, or go to our social media pages, and you can find out more details about that there. And thanks to everybody for sending in some amazing pictures over the last few days and weeks. Can hardly wait to see what everybody sees out there for anything involving 4th of July celebrations coming up. National Lightning Safety Awareness Week concludes this Saturday. Today's topic is all about lightning and outdoor activities. And again, watching what happens when thunder roars go indoors. The headline that the storm struck without warning is pretty much a cliche and not true absolutely in any way, shape, or form statement, because these days being able to keep track of weather, whether it's on weather apps, on your phone, on your weather radio, through local media like News 12, it's kind of hard to not pay attention to the weather. So if you are a coach, if you're an administrator helping out with a game someplace, if you are a referee, an umpire, a line judge, whatever, and want to keep an eye on what's happening, your information could keep everybody safe, because as that lightning moves its way closer, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning. Yes, it is a slim margin in and of itself, but yearly, if I'm not mistaken on this, you have a 1 in 725 chance of getting struck by lightning every single day out of the entire year, depending on conditions. So this is something to really pay attention to, that if you have an outdoor game, say like you see school visits out again for a jog, soccer on the field, see lightning, hear thunder, have it detected on your app, time to get back indoors again. It may sound like a silly little poem, but if it helps save people's lives, again, I'm all for it. Go to, again, when thunder roars, go indoors. More information from lightningsafetycouncil.org if you'd like to know more about Lightning Safety Awareness Week. I didn't really touch on this last night because we were kind of running heavy on time, but the lightning crouch, if you've ever heard about this, to where you crouch down to the ground, make yourself as small a target as you possibly can, that is out. We do not do that anymore. In the same way, we don't tell people to go up under an overpass to protect themselves from a tornado or from winds. we tell everybody to go to a safe place like a ditch or a culvert. In this case, where we're talking about the lightning crouch, getting down on the balls of your feet so you don't make as tall a possible object. Your best bet is to get indoors as soon as possible. Leave the golf clubs out wherever you can, stow them safely someplace, but get back indoors again and get yourself safe and stay there until that storm has moved 30 miles away, and to make yourself, again, a good opportunity to stay safe out there. Our question of the day from friendandroofing.com on our webpage, wdef.com/vote now, dealt with this topic. So if you'd like to know, again, more about this, please go to our website, again, wdef.com/vote now to take part in that. Again, on the topic of it could be worse, heat is getting worse around the globe, and especially was pretty bad. This has yet to be confirmed as far as I know, but the record warm low temperature for the date in Phoenix, Arizona was set after midnight this morning of 95 degrees. That was the low temperature. Yes, they have very low humidities, but that can be very dangerous in and amongst itself right there. So that is where we see the previous record was 93. That hasn't been broken since 1990. And if you think we're alone in that, we're not. Records are falling each and every single day, and around the world we continue to see new records being set. For today, the record high of 122.5 in Ouargla, Algeria, for the first time ever recorded in the country of Algeria in June, going above the other record high of just about 120. So we're continuing to see these records fall. This is not good news for the climate of our planet, and one more reason why we need to rein in the use of fossil fuels and to try to make certain we do as much as possible when it comes to energy, clean energy, renewable energy. That's something we really need to pay attention to. I think that should do it for tonight. We're going to try to get on Twitch and let everybody know what's going on here in just a little bit, but that should do for the time being. So if you have any questions, let me know. Again, email address at the lower section of your screen at aonek@wdef.com. More of our pages have tons of information on it at wdef.com/weather, and you can catch this weather blog on our weather app. If you'd like to catch it wherever you are, again, you can see where that's listed on the screen right there. That comes up as part of the menu. So please stop by, download our weather app, search WDEF weather in your weather app store or your app store, wherever that happens to be, and go ahead and download the app and stay in touch with what is going on across the area. Chip Chapman will have more coming up early tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, and then Chip will be taking about a week's vacation, and we'll have some new faces in here to talk a little bit more about weather, so stay tuned for more on that. I'm going to go ahead and close things down for tonight, send you back to your regular Thursday night programming. So thanks to everybody for, again, tuning in and keeping an ear as to what's going on. King Plays Z or King Plays on YouTube, saying hi back, and thanks for joining us on the show. Appreciate you stopping by and saying hello there. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, southeast Tennessee, southeastern United States, planet Earth, Milky Way galaxy. You can find your way from there. Stay tuned for more. Dave Staley will be back with me tonight for news at 11, and Rick Nyman will have more on sports. And again, Chip Chapman with the forecast bright and early on Friday morning, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern on the News 12 Morning Show. Thanks for joining us for Thursday night. Stay tuned for more coming up on Friday as we get you into your weekend. And again, stay tuned to News 12 on air and online.